go by the name of Knowledge Butterfly. Um, I actually have to big up Harris in Clayton County in Georgia. He's the one that had one conversation with me, and I told him how I've always loved butterflies and felt like a butterfly. And so he said, because I have a beautiful mind and because of my love of butterflies, my feeling, that he coined me Knowledge Butterfly. So I said, I appreciate it. Um, so that's just to give you a little background on the name. And as I continue on to share things about my journey and things that I begin to understand through my meditation and through my connection with the source within me, I will continue to share those things, because that's a part of my process, is to share. And also a part is to not overshare. So it's to find the balance. Everything is to find the balance within yourself. And when you find the balance within yourself, you find the balance on the outside. And that actually allows me to go into what I want to express to you guys today. And that is why so many people are stuck in a physical reality. Why so many people are unable to see anything inside. Because we always say people don't see anything outside of the physical. People only see the outside. People do not see anything inside. That's the sight that was lost. That's the lost art form. And so I started to get information from like the ancestors, because I am a person who has been trained in an analytical sense, because I grew up in America. I worked in corporate America, and they teach you to be a left brain thinker, to be logical, analytical, and to process and break down everything and create your checklist and your one through whatever, your spreadsheets and all these things. So you become conditioned to process everything in that manner. So when people say that they go to work and then when they come home, they cut off that work mode and now they are who they really are, in a sense, you cut it off. However, you're still processing things in that same analytical, logical manner. You're breaking down the things you're going to do, even the food you're going to put in your stomach, like what you want to eat that day, just all those types of things, because you become programmed and conditioned that way. And I say all that to say is that the ancestors were sharing with me why we operate, a lot of us operate on that frequency. And I know a lot of people say it because I've watched other YouTube channels. Shout out to Universal Frequencies. He's one of my favorites, actually, because he connects with the side of me that has a love and affinity for crystals and stones. My magical, mystical side, tapping into the sorcery, tapping into your alchemy. So shout out to that brother. He's been doing his thing for a while, and I've been watching him for almost a year now. And also some other people I came into contact with, the Young Pharaohs, Osei Kafour, just a lot of knowledgeable people. And I always big up people and respect my brothers and even sisters that are out there doing it. Respect to them, because even if everything that they're giving you, you do not feel is a truth for you. You don't see it as a truth, or I shouldn't say a truth. You don't see it as a benefit to your process and your evolution. It is still something that they're giving you, in my opinion, something that they gave me that allowed me to be able to express myself in a better manner, because it's not even just necessarily the information they gave you, because they do drop a lot of truths and a lot of things that make you think and question things and question what they're saying as well. However, that is the purpose and the point of it. I feel like if you're going to listen to anybody on YouTube, you're not supposed to be a follower of that person. You're not supposed to treat that person as if they are a Jesus. And again, all of this is going to get into what I'm talking about. You'll notice that I have a tendency to get into other things. However, all of that, these little things that I'm giving you is going to tie into the bigger picture. Okay? It all ties together. So I'm just saying all that to say is just, just give a respect and send love out to people, and give thanks for the things that they were able to aid you in this journey on your journey. Any aid that they gave you on your journey is them actually blessing your life and helping you raise your frequency, because only truly you can raise it. However, the frequencies that you choose to take in do matter. So, however, I just wanted to shout out some people real quick for different things that they have contributed to my journey. So, getting back into the topic. Why are people so stuck in the physical? Because we've been trained and conditioned to be physical beings. Everything about this plane that we're on, that they call Earth, is set up to remind us of a physical existence, of a physical reality, of a physical realm. And the reason being that, or the starting ground for that training, honestly, is religion. Religion teaches people to be physical beings. It teaches you that you have to go outside, you have to go outside of your inner self to praise someone outside of your inner self to elevate you to your higher self in your inner self. So that is like me, instead of me directly plugging, a cord into the socket, into the outlet, that's like me taking another socket and plugging that socket into a socket, then taking the cord and plugging it into the outlet. That's what most people are doing. So when you've been conditioned and trained to think that everything you need on this earth is out to replenish the inside, is outside of you, then you look at everything as a physical object. You do not see anything outside of that physical object. Other examples are, you have a cold. They don't tell you, you need to figure out what you're taking in internally and stop doing that, or do less of that and do more of this, because this will build up your thymus gland, which helps you build up your immune system, because your thymus gland is basically the brain, is basically the heart, is basically the heartbeat, is what you need in order to keep the blood pumping. So it's what your immune system needs to keep it strong, and so it can defend. It's like a fort. You know what I'm saying? To protect the foreign objects, the enemies from penetrating your immune system. So your diet may need to consist of something that is going to give the right energy for you to take in the right energy internally to balance and to strengthen your thymus gland. So but they don't teach you that. What they tell you is go out here and get some Robitussin, go get some Theraflu, go get some Alka-Seltzer, go take whatever this medication on the shelf. So you not only have to go outside of yourself to get medicine, okay, to take, instead of going inside of yourself and identifying the root cause and effect of it. Because they don't teach you, that's another thing religion doesn't teach you, cause and effect. So when they not teach you cause and effect, you're going to look at you're always going to focus on the effects, the physical, because the physical is an effect of the internal. The cause is always inside. The cause is always inside first. And so what religion does is it tells you that the cause is on the outside of you. So you got to start changing who you around, and not saying that that's not part of it, because everybody is energy, and you are a radio, or sometimes I like to say a satellite, and so you're picking up different frequencies from all over the place, and so you just changing different radio stations, and there's different frequencies, or however, even though it's a different frequency, so this is 97.5 and this is 103.3 or whatever, I can go from 97.5 and I can hear a Drake song, and then I go to 103.3 and it's playing the same Drake song. See what I'm saying? However, I know that some people may get that, some people may not. However, those who get it and it resonates with you, like feel what I'm saying, like Lil Scrappy, you feel me? Seriously. And so they don't so that even though I say that it's a physical act, just looking only outside of yourself for faults and issues in your life, that's what religion teaches. It teaches you to go outside of yourself to find something to blame, to find a cause outside of you. It's having you go back, do the reverse process. So it's telling you from the effect of it, from this physical act, it's telling you to basically identify the cause, instead of telling you that it is you identifying what you internally did. Because when you think about it, there are certain sicknesses, even though we know sickness and disease is truly not a thing, that have the same symptoms. And so you have to start adding more symptoms to identify, oh, okay, this is the cold, but this is the flu. You see what I'm saying? This is pneumonia. However, it is basically still you doing the same process. You're still looking at that effect, and you are treating that effect, not the cause. You're treating the effect as if it's the cause. And that's not it. Okay? Other ways that we totally focus on the physical is we try to change our diet and what we eat. Yes, your diet is a part of a process. However, when I say you try to change your diet without changing the physical, you're not identifying why it is that you have a tendency to go back to abusing certain foods, why you have a tendency to overeat, why you have a tendency to use food as a coping mechanism. So until you identify the cause of what's causing you to eat in that way, you taking a month or 2 weeks or even a year off of eating a certain way is not truly healing yourself. It's not truly elevating yourself. It's not really doing anything but having you repeat the same cycle over and over again. Because all you're doing is at one moment in time, you're saying, okay, I'm tired of abusing myself. I need a break from abusing myself. So let me go ahead and, purge all of that and cleanse my physical shell, because I don't like the way I look on the outside. Even though the way you look on the outside is an image. It is an image of what's on the inside. That is why your physical reality is a manifestation of your inner reality, your spiritual reality, your thoughts, your thought process. It is a creative process. So we're creating every single day how most people are creating physical realities. Because in identifying Jesus as a physical object instead of identifying Jesus as you getting to your light, your higher self, and identifying Satan as a physical object instead of identifying Satan as you being imbalanced in your being more focused on your lower self. So in your Christ state, you are in more of your higher self, and in your, Satan state or realm of thinking, you are in your lower state. However, they are both one and the same, one organism that is different sides of the spectrum. And you have to find the medium, the balance. That's what this journey is. And once people stop treating like the cuts and putting a band-aid on it, and this is the internal cuts. Hey y'all, this is my my kitty cat Sheba right here. She be doing a lot though. She be doing a lot. She's very feisty, which again, when you understand that we're all truly one, and I understand that this is another this is me. This is another personality of me. This is another character trait of me, and some things sometimes she do. I'm like, oh, I need to work on that. I probably need to fix that in me because I see it in her. However, yeah, this is my little cat. However, but mommy's doing a video, so she has a tendency sometimes when I have on shorts, like to put her claws in there and stuff like. Look at her. See what I mean? See what I mean? You tell her something, and then she continues to do what she wants to do anyway. This is what I mean. No, Sheba. No. See what I mean? See what I mean? But basically, we're supposed to be finding a balance within ourselves. Stay. Good girl. Good girl. Good. However, at the same time, she can't be controlled because she's a cat. And we all know that we should not. It's certain characteristics and certain animals and traits that we should be taking on, and that's why we have them around us, so we can take on certain energy that they possess. And one good trait of that is she does not allow herself to be controlled. I am also the same way, and so all she does is fortify that in me. That no, you cannot control me because I am a spiritual being. I am not a physical anything. This is an image that you see, and it is just that. It is an image, a projection. Anywho, so what religion did is it made us focus on one side of ourselves or one state of being, and it didn't teach us that effect, that state of being, which is the effect, was created by the thought process that we had going on, our thought patterns, what we had going on. That's what they didn't teach us. That's what they didn't foster and nurture in us. And it's not just in America, because right now I'm actually experiencing and living in Jamaica. And that is an experience I started manifesting last year. Actually before last year, actually in 2016, to be honest. And actually, if I tap into my memory bank even further, it was before that, back in 2012 and stuff like that. So it is different things that took us to where we are in our journey at this time, or what we call the present. It is different steps that we took in our thought process that got us to where we are. And so that's why I'm in actually Portland, Jamaica, and I'm staying in the hills. A very natural environment, very natural place where there are banana trees around me, coconut trees, keiko, I think is what they call the trees, is the chocolate, pineapple, jackfruit, they have dasheen, I think yam, and then also like plants that are medicinal and herbal, like you can just take them right off the bush, right off the tree, and wash it off and then boil it in some water, and then you have an herbal tea that's beneficial to all kind of parts of your body, parts of your body you never even knew about. like moringa tea. And see, this is me getting off into a whole nother subject. However, moringa tea. Moringa is a plant. If you Google and look up how much more beneficial it is than every other thing that they talk about in mass media, like drinking cow's milk, and they tell you you get vitamin D or calcium from it, and you find out that this thing, I think, gives you 7 times the amount of calcium that any milk could even give you, even though we know what cow's milk does to you and it's not beneficial to your body. So when we start to overstand basically ourselves more, we start manifesting the realities that we want, because our thoughts change. So I manifested this because I was able to let go and leave in the past. I wasn't Lot's wife. I didn't turn around and look at, even though I know that the Bible is an astrological book, numerological. It's that word always gets me, y'all, and help me with that, y'all. That numerology, I say that way more easy. Numerology is in there, and alchemy is in there. And it's a mix of the spiritual sciences, is what I call them, spiritual science. And however, even though it comes from a place of spiritual science, it's being taught in a manner, and it was designed in a manner to impede the ascension of your soul, the ascension of your true self, your true being, because it wanted you to be so focused on the physical that you didn't realize and understand that your spiritual, your thought process, your spiritual science, and your mythology to the way that you go about being, meaning, are you truly being on this plane, or are you making things happen? You see what I'm saying? Are you creating on this plane, or are you working to make things happen? You see what I'm saying? And so until we truly start to let go of religion, which religion is society, because society is a reflection of what the indoctrination of religion has done to the people. And until we get to the point where we have an understanding of how we have to truly tap into our soul and how we truly ascend, we'll still be stuck in a total physical existence. And then I have to, like people like to say, play devil's advocate. That's where that comes from, because that's playing the other side of the coin. So we're talking about the heads of the coin, which is your higher self. Let's talk about the tails of the coin, which is your lower self. You see what I'm saying? Devil's advocate. Where else you still have to full joy the moments that you experience. Like when I'm here and I eat a real banana that came off the tree. When I open a coconut with a machete, y'all. I didn't learn that in America. Jamaica taught me that. I open a coconut with a machete and drink the coconut water straight off the tree, y'all. And then I grate the coconut with the little machine so that I can make coconut milk, because I cook everything in coconut milk. Like, it just tastes so good. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you shouldn't full joy some of these physical experiences, because we came here for a purpose and for a reason, in order to have this journey. So it is a balancing act. It's just like walking a ledge, a tightrope. You're balancing yourself so that you don't fall. And then even if you do fall, or what you call falling, you fall, meaning you fall back into that pattern, that same cycle that you thought you broke free of. You have to evaluate why you were able to go back into that pattern. Like, what really caused you to fall back into that habit, into that cycle. That's what religion does not teach you. So until we stop um, holding on to the indoctrination of religion, not only from having to have a physical Bible in your hand, to the things that you think in society, because even your thought process and the way you think, that you have to think, not that you have to think, because you don't have to think any kind of way. You have to you want to train yourself or condition yourself, recondition yourself to become more of a spiritual creator, and know that the things that you do on the physical are now easier for you to do, because you have spiritually prepared yourself and spiritually created those things, so that when you start to like I'm starting my YouTube channel now, when you start to do those things, you feel more at ease with it. You don't have a fear holding you back, or you don't have anything holding you back from creating. Because sometimes it seems like it's too easy. It's too easy to start recording yourself and upload a video of you talking and blase, 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 blase. That's easy, However, some things are supposed to be easy. We've been conditioned because of the physical nature to think that we're supposed to work so physically hard and exert so much physical energy in order to manifest the things that we want. We were never taught that our thoughts are what's really manifesting the things that we want. Because even when you're physically working so hard, it's because you conditioned and told yourself you have to physically work so hard in order to get the things you want out of life. Because the entertainers that you listen to, the Jay-Z's and all those people like that, they tell you, they want their grind, and they did this and they did that, and that's why they are Jay-Z. That's why they are Beyonce. That's why they are Rihanna. They have to do this and do that. How are we understand that it's not the case? The people who really worked hard are the ones of us who are awakening to different illusions every day, or even if it's not every day in the sense of time, it is us still awakening to illusions. We're not ever at a point where we think that we've totally grasped all of the illusion, is what I'm saying. So even if you are what you call a so-called conscious person, and you don't operate as strongly, or your percentage of operating in the physical is lower than someone who is not at the level that you're at in your spiritual journey, you still are operating in certain aspects of your life in a physical manner. That's what I had to learn through this process in Jamaica, because there were certain things that I identified physically as being that particular thing. And that is what labels do to us. Labels cause for us to want to put an image on something. And I'll get into that on another video, because that's another subject that the ancestors started to bring to my conscious. When we say it brings to our attention, it brings it to our thought, it brings it to our conscious, that you do something, because we've been conditioned to label everything. We've been conditioned to label ourselves. So we label everything outside of ourselves. That's why we label the food we eat. We label the animals. We label, the vehicles we drive as vehicles, even though this is a vehicle too. It's a comfort zone, because if we can label it, then that means it's known to us. We know what it is. And see, now I'm getting into the labels, even though I said I wasn't. I'm so silly, y'all. I just wanted to get that out, because we fear the unknown. We've been taught and conditioned to fear the unknown. That's why it's so hard to let go of certain parts of religion, because it's known to you. It's what's known to you. It's what's comfortable to you. Even if it's causing you pain, it's still it's comfortable to you. It's just like how I've always loved spicy food. The spicier the better, even though I could get heartburn from it, indigestion from it sometimes. really bad menstrual cramps from it sometimes, I still craved or still love it. I still love it. I'm not gonna act like I don't eat it because I'm in Jamaica now, so Scotch bonnet peppers be my best friend sometimes. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Sometimes. However, it physically caused me pain. It even physically causes you pain when you eating the spicy food. That's why your tongue burn. However, you want that taste and so badly, so much that you disregard the pain. Same thing we do in relationships with a man or a woman. They causing you sometimes physical pain, and most of the time they causing you emotional pain and spiritual pain, because those are the things you cannot see, you feel. So that's why they say you trust your feelings, because your feeling is your first signal that something's not right or that something's right. And when I say right, I mean righteous. I mean it is beneficial to your being or is detrimental to your being. Okay, so yeah, we tend to hold on to those painful things. So we hold on to the bad relationships, we hold on to the bad foods, we hold on to the bad jobs, we hold on to the bad friends or family. And I do the air quotes because, again, all these words are just words that were given to us. Okay, and so friend is like an ending. So I wouldn't even really want to call nobody a friend. Like, that's the end of something. And, you know, as far as family, I feel like people utilize that word to basically make it okay to abuse somebody, or make it okay for you to continue to accept abuse, or the cycle of abuse. That's what it all does. That's what labels do. They make you more susceptible to be controlled by a label, to be controlled by what you call someone. Oh, that's a friend. So that means that what that person did wasn't hurtful to you, or wasn't what you would think that a friend would do. You see what I'm saying? That's why some people say, I don't have friends, I have family. So either you my family or not. So then you got people who those are normally the people who have let go of a lot of family members or family people. And I keep doing the air quotes because, again, it's a term. A lot of people who you call family, they have easily let that go. The people who are friends are people who are still holding on to familial ties and not soul connections. And so they're lost in the sauce. They're lost in a physical existence in reality, because that label entitled means that this person can do anything under the sun to you, and you still say, well, but that's my family. And can't nobody say nothing bad about them but me. However, they are literally just like picking at your soul, picking at your energy, picking at your spiritual self, your true self, and just wearing you down. And you keep going back to it because of a label. That's why, in order to truly be, you have to let go of all labels. And even if you call yourself something like a name or something like that, you have to be on a level of understanding that you get that you're still not even that. However, in this physical existence, you find the balance by at least giving yourself a name or a title or a label so that people can identify you, because you understand that you are not a name that was given to you by any man or person or individual on this plane. You could never be that name, because this plane only exists through thoughts. Because when you are what they call sleeping, when you're actually in your true self and you're traveling outside of this particular organism, this cell, you are in a bunch of different, dimensions and places, and you are still existing. You are still there. Like, your true essence is still, living. You're not dead. They say you sleep. So that's why the labels, the titles, and the things like that, I'm not going to be the type of person that says that those frequencies do not matter, because they do matter. That's why I do not tell people, I do not say good morning. What is good about morning? That's sadness. You're crying. The emotional state of the word morning, the emotional expressions that come from the word morning are not something that most people would think is a good thing. So in America, they say good morning. In Jamaica, they just say morning. I say hello. I say happy sunrise. I say grand rising. I tell all of nature, from the trees to the animals, grand rising, because of the frequency of it. So that's why with words, I just choose and tend to go by the way they make me feel, because that's really what we're supposed to be doing on this journey. How do things make you feel? How do the words make you feel that comes out of this person's mouth? How does that person's mannerisms make you feel when you're around them? How do you feel when you're inside of a church? You see what I'm saying? It's how do you feel when you're at your job? How do you feel when you're at home and you're around the people that you say are your family? How do you feel? Because all of these things outside of you are things that are on the inside of you, because it's part of your thought process now. I'm not saying that, because people say, the truths of Christianity and the truths of whatever religion. I tell everybody that everything has a little bit of truth in it. And it is your job. That is your only job, is to identify who you truly are, your true being, with all of these outside influences. That's what coming into this realm. If you're able to successfully complete this true video game, which all video games were designed for, with the different levels, because you're leveling up. However, just because you level up, don't think that means that you are on the same level that you are in each category. Each category is the same level. Because any video game, your strength, you might be at, a 50, and your stamina might be a 30. It's the same thing in the spiritual. None of us can sit here and be like we've got it all figured out. None of us can sit here and act like we are the end all be all. That is part of my lesson that I'm teaching myself. That's really what my channel is for. That's why, even though I said I wasn't going to get into labels, I got into it, and that doesn't mean that I'm done with labels. I just decided to touch on it because I go with the flow. The flow of the water, the way the wind blows. Is normally the terms that people use when they say that some people go with the flow and some people go any way the wind blows. All those things have a reason behind them. I choose to go with the flow because most people are going the way that the wind blows. So however they think they are, that's what they are at that moment. You see what I'm saying? There are those people, those chameleons, because they don't want to tap into anything on the inner self and on the inside. So they feel more comfortable being whatever, basically adapting and matching their environment. Which I'm not going to say that adaptation is not a bad thing, because everything in nature has to adapt. However, it is from the natural essence of themselves, not from a fakeness, not from a putting on a show and pretending. It's just, It's knowing yourself so well that you're able to determine when you need to change your thought pattern or thought process. It's able to check yourself, basically. I'm able to do a spiritual check on myself when I see some physical things happening and I'm like, I'm not liking this. I need to find out what's going on. And it's all in me. It's like Lauryn Hill said, you know, it is all in you. His strength, which he was talking about, Ra, it's all in you. However, so is what they call Isis or the moon. It's all in you because it is all you. You know, when you understand that you are everything, and as small in stature as this physical being is, or petite in stature as this physical being might be, I am still, much more magnified. It's like putting light into a light bulb. It's like, it's like putting something, containing something, basically. Our light is contained in these vehicles, so only so much is shining. And the ones who choose to truly be, your light starts to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. So we are really stars. I even noticed that as above, so below, even on the physical level. So like, you look at the hairs on your body and I'm like, okay, they black. When I stand in the sun and I am reflecting the sun and, taking in my sun, I look down and it looks golden. So it just goes to show you that sometimes the things you see are not really what you see. And it is only because of the way you think, and you haven't opened your thought process up. You haven't opened yourself up to anything outside of your everyday environment, because people are conditioned by their environments partially. We are a conditioning of growing in our mother's womb. We are a condition of all the reincarnations. We are a condition of our upbringing, which is our environment with our parents, and then we are conditioned of the school systems. We are conditioned by our work environments. When we go to work, we are conditioned by the foods we eat, because that's an environment we're creating on the inside. So everything ties into one another. It's all a cycle, and we're just on a journey to discover and to experience things at the same time. It's like a child. How a child gets excited when they start, walking, because they start pulling up on things. And then, now where I was crawling, I can only go to a certain level. Now I'm pulling up on things and I can walk. And now I'm on a whole nother level, so I can touch things that I couldn't get to before, where they would put it up for me and I couldn't reach it. But now I can pull up and I can get it. You see what I'm saying? So then, as you start to get taller and grow, it's not about the walking no more, because you mastered walking. Now, the things as a child, your parents, they have to start putting things a little bit higher level. You can't reach it. So when you get a certain age, now you can reach it. They can't put it there no more. I mean, it's different ways to look at things. Everything is a level up to me. Everything is a growth process. Everything is really you just being honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest with self, then you can't be honest with nobody else. People cannot give you something they do not possess. So another thing I'm working on, which ties into why people are so physical, is we want people to give us something that they do not possess. Okay? So a lot of times we get mad when people don't give us compassion, when people don't give us love, when people don't give us happiness. They can't give you something that's not inside of themselves. Because if a person does not love themselves, which you can tell by the way they treat themselves on the outside, they cannot give it to you. So why are you mad at them? Be mad at yourself for expecting it. I'm serious. And then maybe that's your lesson. Maybe your lesson is to learn that you are trying to force a person, i.e. myself, you are trying to force people to give you something that you already have on the inside of you. So when you finally accept that nobody on the outside is going to give you something that you need, all they're going to do is be in harmony with what you already possess. Everything is everything on this planet. Everything is everything. I shouldn't be looking for a plant to make up everything inside of me, because everything that's in the plant is already inside of me. However, what I can do is I can utilize the plant, and I can utilize the energy that the plant gives off that's already inside of me to increase or to recharge that energy. Because the food you eat give you some type of energy. So the people you put around you, I can utilize the right energy that help elevate and to keep my a certain frequency that I'm working towards, which may be abundance. So it might be around people who are on that frequency of thinking in an abundant manner. I would keep those people as my circle. That's why they say your circle is important, because that frequency that they're on is the frequency that I am growing. It's the frequency that I am feeding. So if you don't want to feed a certain frequency, then you shouldn't put yourself around that frequency. Okay? Now, if I'm attempting to starve that frequency, or not just, I shouldn't say starve that frequency, tame that frequency. Because no frequency is going to anger is never going to completely, go away unless you take yourself outside of this society as a whole and you're able to just truly just be, just you. Because there's always going to be something that comes up and arises that could make anger arise within you. However, you have to check yourself and see why this thing is still causing anger within you. Because if we're talking about we're higher conscious beings and we're elevating, the only thing that will make me angry is somebody put hands on me, or somebody put hands on someone that is in my circle, someone I love, familial. Someone's threatening that liberty, threatening your being. However, the way someone thinks, that's their thought process. That's their physical reality that they're manifesting and making. It's not mine. The only way it's mine, the only way that someone else thought process, someone else's thought process and pattern, the only way that can impact me, the only way that can affect me is if I take in that energy. And even if you take in that energy, you can transmute that energy. And this is the last thing I'm going to get on, because I really, I can continue to go on because, I'm always thinking, and the universe, the ancestors, and, my inner being is always, when I'm doing something that's righteous, is always giving me more information. And sometimes that's another lesson I'm learning, is even though it's giving me more information, it's not necessarily meant for me to share at this time. It could be for me to research it more within myself, me to do more meditation, for me to do more crystal work, for me to do more affirmations, for me to do, a lot more other things, for me to go out in nature and connect and stand on the ground, tread idle. It could be other things that I need to do before I actually even express it, or it could be just something that's a message just for me at this time. And I know that's the truth because I hear a ringing in my left ear. Yeah, like in my left ear. And like sometimes I feel like certain things are like confirmation, and it's like other messages and things that you get from the ancestors that are telling you that you're going in the right path and what you're saying is the truth. Um, However, last night was the full moon. I think it was at 7:58 p.m. and I did my first full moon ritual since 2016. Because 2016, I connected with a soul that goes by the name of Danielle Ayoka, I think, or Aiko, something like that. I connected with this soul on Twitter because I used to be really into Twitter. And she delves into a lot of astrology. Uh, she actually does do astrological work, and not just astrological work as far as giving people readings and things, because she does that too. She also gives people information about their signs and the characteristics and traits of that sign. And so I've always been interested in astrology, even when I was into Christianity and looking to find myself in Christianity, because that's the thing, guys. We are all delving into certain organizations to find ourselves, because an organization is an organism. And so it's like a single organism. And so we're trying to fit into a single organism when you already are a single organism. And everything you need is already within you. And then everything that starts to connect on the outside of you, it will feel right. It will feel real. It will operate as a single organism. You won't have to make it yourself fit or say that you feel like this is your group of people to be with because of these characteristics. It'll be based upon what's on the inside and a soul connection and a tie. And so that was part of my journey in tapping back into the astrology. And so she basically would give people different affirmations or different things to write on a piece of paper so that you're able to release certain blockages, because an understanding that a lot of people are stagnant because you have a blockage in your energy. It's just like if you are taking a shower and the drain is blocked because hair is clogging or something's clogging it, and you get some liquid Drano or plumber and you pour it down there, and then it starts to eat away at it, and then it cleans it out and it pushes that debris or whatever was clogging the drain, so that now the water is able to flow and it's not clogged anymore. It's the as above, so below. It's the as in the physical, so as in the physical, so in the spiritual. It is the same thing. That process that she teaches people. It is to write down your intentions, write down the types of energy you no longer want to hold on to, write down the blockages you want to release. However, at the same time, she teaches that even though you're releasing certain energy, what she was saying without saying it is that energy doesn't die. It transmutes, it transforms. So you have to transmute that energy and transform that energy into a new energy that is beneficial to whatever goal you're looking to achieve, whatever thoughts you've been implanting, or let's just say whatever idea or creative idea you're growing. Because thoughts are children that you're growing. If you want to look at it like a child, or if you want to look at a thought like a tree, it's a seed. Because everything is a seed. A child is a seed. A tree is a seed. Cats are seeds. Like, everything starts from a seed. So when you understand that, then you get that your thoughts also start with a seed. So as in the physical, so it is in the spiritual. And so what you're doing is you're doing your meditation first, because I didn't just get into my full moon ritual. I was meditating on things that I wanted to grow, and then things I was releasing. I was picturing myself breathing in, the new and releasing the old, because, they both cannot occupy the same space. Certain frequencies and energies cannot occupy the same space. Okay, and so when you understand that, you have to release certain things in order to gain another, then you start to operate in the spiritual in that way in your thought process. So that's what the full moon ritual is. It is so that you can expel out those things that you do not want to occupy space, because you want to now open up that space for something new. It's like in your cell phone, like on this iPhone, and it tells me all the time, like, I need more storage. You need more storage. You know, you're almost out of storage, basically. In order for me to save a photo or to save a video or whatever, that means I have to actually either delete some things, or I had to upload some things to another, what they call the cloud. Okay, so some things you need to go in and purge and get out that recycle, you know, get out the recycle bin, because some people have things that they have hit the trash button on, but it's sitting in your recycle bin. So to me, that full moon ritual is me cleansing out my recycle bin. It's me cleaning, it's really me deleting and purging out those things. And then now I am bringing back in the type of energy flow that I need and I desire in order to level up and get to the next point of being on this journey. And so, yeah, I did my full moon ritual, and this is my first one since 2016. I treaded idle. I wound up taking off my slippers, as Jamaicans call them. We call them sandals in America. And I had already written the things I need to release on the paper, which is what Danielle would have. She teaches. And what you do is you go ahead and speak those things and release those things. And what I did is I actually did my own thing. I stood in the earth. I stood on the earth, idle, and felt the energy coming from the earth. Like, because when it's a full moon, and just like the full moon impacts our moods and our emotions, it also impacts the earth. That's why it controls the tides and the water and things like that. And we know that water is in everything. Everything feels, you know, in this universe has what we call a feeling. So everything has some type of connection to one another. And the moon is everything in the earth, including what we call the earths. It connects with all of our emotions, and so in our moods. So as I stood there and I felt the earth's energy, and I was, you know, feeling that and taking that in through my solar plexus at the bottom of my foot, and, you know, I'm doing my, you know, stance like this for a little bit. And this was before I actually started reading off the paper. I just started breathing. Yeah. You just scratched me, Sheba. Hold on, I was actually doing a video, so I'll have to cut that.